I've been scrolling LinkedIn job listings for the past 2 weeks, and the same title keeps showing up hundreds of times. Full stack developer wanted. Sounds good, sounds modern, sounds like money. It's a trap. Stay until the end, because one number changed how I see my entire career as a developer. $261,500. But the reason behind that number is the part nobody talks about. And after the data, I'm going to tell you about a 30-day experiment that almost destroyed my technical skills. But first, you need to understand how we got here. It started with a blog post. A Facebook engineer wrote about full-stack programmers, developers who understood every layer of the system: hardware, networking, backend, frontend, everything. The internet exploded with the concept. The myth was built on a 2010 truth, but the 2010 stack doesn't exist anymore. In 2010, being full stack meant mastering this: PHP, jQuery, HTML, MySQL, an FTP client. Today, it means this: React or Vue or Svelte or Astro, Node or Django or Spring Boot, Docker, Kubernetes, serverless, CI/CD, AWS, which has over 200 services, security, observability, ML pipelines. And that's before writing a single line of business logic. Calling that full stack isn't ambition, it's fiction. Okay, enough history. Let's talk numbers. Stack Overflow Developer Survey 2024. Over 65,000 developers surveyed. Median salaries in the United States: ML/AI engineer, $261,500. Backend engineer, $170,000. SRE, $166,500. Cloud engineer, $165,000. DevOps, $145,000. Full stack, $130,000. Dead last. Full stack developer earns less than every single specialization. And not just that, its salary dropped 7% last year, while ML engineer salaries went up. Job market. Indeed Hiring Lab, July 2025. Generic software engineer postings down 49% versus pre-pandemic. AI ML engineer postings up 143% versus 2024. Same market, two completely different realities. Here's the number that floored me. Not because of what it is, because of what it implies. 4,800,000 unfilled cybersecurity positions globally right now. In the US alone, 700,000 open roles, with salaries inflating 12 to 16% every year, and companies taking over 6 months to fill each position. There aren't enough specialists anywhere. LinkedIn Jobs on the Rise 2025, the single fastest growing role across the entire job market. Not full stack, not generalist developer, AI engineer. And there's something that connects all of these numbers: AI. Everyone's talking about how AI is going to replace developers. That's the wrong debate. The real impact of AI isn't replacing developers. It's revealing exactly what kind of developer you are. Look at the data. GitHub Copilot, 20 million users. 46% of all code written by active users is now AI generated. And Cursor reached multi-billion ARR faster than almost any developer tool we've ever seen. And what does all that AI generate perfectly? Boilerplate, CRUD endpoints, forms, API integrations, basic UI, unit tests. Exactly what a generic full-stack developer spends most of their time doing. AI doesn't replace specialists. It replaces the shallow work that generalists do. A metric study from July 2025, a randomized controlled trial with experienced developers, found that on complex tasks, AI made them 19% slower. Slower. Because the harder the problem gets, the less useful autocomplete becomes. Real complexity, distributed systems, database optimization at scale, security architecture, ML pipelines, requires the kind of judgment that only years of deliberate practice in a domain can build. That judgment doesn't come from a prompt. When a junior dev can use Lovable or V0 to ship an app with auth, a database, and payments in 4 hours with 0 lines of code, what's the value of knowing a little of everything? But before you say something in the comments, I need to be honest. Do full-stack developers have value? Yes, absolutely. At a 5-person startup hunting for product market fit, hiring a backend specialist, a front-end specialist, a DevOps engineer, and a DBA separately doesn't make economic sense. And genuinely understanding the full stack, really understanding it, makes you a better specialist. You see cross-layer problems others miss. But there's a massive difference between understanding the full system and claiming expertise across the full system. The first is a T-shaped engineer using full-stack thinking to be a better specialist. The second is someone hoping nobody asks the hard questions. And the salary difference between those two is $130,000 versus $261,000. So what do you actually do with all of this? I'm not saying pick a specialization and ignore everything else forever. That's the I-shaped model. It's brittle. I'm saying this. AI has made breadth cheap. When V0 generates React interfaces in seconds, when Copilot writes 46% of the code, when any developer can do a little of everything with tools, breadth is no longer the scarce asset. Depth is. AI gives you the breadth. Your depth is your moat. The path that data actually supports. 1. Start with breadth. Understand the full system. 2. Identify the domain where hard problems choose you. 3. Go deep until your expertise can't be replaced by a $20 per month tool. 4. Use AI to multiply your impact, not substitute your judgment. ML AI specialists, $261K median salary. Cybersecurity, 4.8 million unfilled roles. Platform engineering emerged from nothing and already pays 20% more than DevOps. Rust developers carry a 15 to 20% salary premium simply because only 709,000 people in the world write it professionally. The market pays for scarcity. Full stack isn't scarce. It's never been less scarce than right now. There's something I didn't tell you at the beginning. All this research, the salary data, the AI paradox, the full stack trap, I understood it, really understood it, after something that happened to me. I decided to let AI write every line of my code for 30 days. Cursor for everything, Claude for architecture, Copilot as backup, 0 lines written by hand. The first few days, I was faster than I'd ever been, genuinely. Features that used to take 2 days, I was shipping before lunch. And on day 27, I couldn't fix a bug I would have solved in 10 minutes. Not because the bug was hard, because after 4 weeks of AI writing my code, my brain stopped thinking in code. That's exactly what today's data describes at the career level. When you let a tool replace deep thinking, you don't just lose the skill, you lose the capacity to build the judgment that makes you irreplaceable. The full video of that experiment is right there. 30 days, the production incident that took down a live system at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday, the code review where I couldn't answer a question about my own code, and the question I couldn't shake. If someone else is making every decision in my code, am I still the developer or just the one who approves it? It's right there. That's the next video. And if anything we talked about today hit close to home, that question is going to stay with you.